What if you woke up one morning and realized no one else was real? Not your parents, not your friends, not even your pet. Every face you see, just a puppet. Every smile, a programmed response. Every word spoken to you, a line of code. You're not crazy. You're not hallucinating. You are, undeniably, the only sentient being on the planet. And the rest, they're just walking scripts, soulless, empty, going through the motions. This isn't a movie. This is your new reality. Welcome to a world where the deepest terror isn't monsters, war, or apocalypse. It's isolation. Not physical solitude, but a complete severing from every form of genuine connection. Because in this chilling hypothetical scenario, you are the only real person left. Every other human being, from your childhood crush to the person who delivered your coffee this morning, is just a mindless automaton, an NPC. They look like people, they talk like people, but behind their eyes, nothing, no soul, no thoughts, no awareness. Just a perfectly crafted imitation designed to keep you from noticing the truth. And now you know. This revelation hits like a lightning bolt to the psyche. It shatters everything you thought you knew about love, trust, friendship, society, and what it even means to be human. In this world, you're not just alone. You're surrounded by imitations of people you once loved, now revealed as puppets on strings. You begin to question, was there ever anyone else real? Have you always been alone? And worse, why is this happening to you? This is the story of your descent into existential horror, the moral unraveling that follows, and your search for meaning in a world where meaning might no longer exist. Let's begin where the nightmare truly starts, when the illusion of connection collapses, and you realize that every relationship you've ever had was fake. The moment you realize you're the only conscious mind in the world, something inside you breaks. It's not dramatic, not at first. It starts with silence. A silence not of sound, but of recognition. You look into the eyes of your mother, your partner, your best friend, and you see it. That blankness, that uncanny consistency. The delayed reactions, the emotionless precision of their responses. At first, you second-guess yourself. Maybe you're paranoid. Maybe it's a psychotic break. But the signs only intensify. They repeat phrases. They never initiate anything truly unpredictable. They don't feel joy when you feel joy. They laugh, but there's no soul behind it. They cry, but it's mechanical. And slowly, the impossible becomes undeniable. You are alone. The grief comes next. Not like mourning a death, but mourning the illusion of life. You sit in your room surrounded by photos, conversations, texts, all now exposed as meaningless. Your wedding day, a beautifully rendered cutscene. Your childhood memories, interactions with finely tuned programs. You scream into the void, hoping someone will respond authentically, but nothing does. You test it, create chaos, say the unthinkable, confess wild lies, and the world continues undisturbed as if your emotional outbursts are just white noise. Then comes the paranoia. No one else is real. Who made them? Who made you? Are you being observed, tested, tortured? Is this some kind of experiment where only your mind was selected to remain awake? Your reality becomes a psychological prison. You stop calling people, stop replying to texts. You walk through crowded streets, but feel more isolated than in total darkness. The more people you see, the worse it feels, like walking through a wax museum where every figure breathes. Eventually, you withdraw completely. What's the point of talking to a world that can't truly hear you? You stop celebrating birthdays. You stop watching movies. Why bother with actors when everyone around you is already acting? Even touch loses meaning. A hug becomes the embrace of a mannequin. Sex becomes a lonely ritual with a lifelike doll. You are drowning in a world full of faces, but no minds. And the final nail. There's no one to tell. No one who can believe you because their belief itself is just part of the script. Your confession becomes another tragic monologue delivered into an audience of ghosts. But when the emotional collapse fades, a more dangerous phase begins. Because if no one else is real, then what rules are you still bound to? In a world filled with real people, morality is simple. Don't hurt others. Treat them as you wish to be treated. But what happens when you realize there are no others anymore? The golden rule collapses under its own weight. Because if you're the only one who truly feels, if no one else is capable of suffering, joy, betrayal, or pain, then what meaning do your actions hold? At first, you try to stay good, out of habit, out of fear, out of lingering hope that someone, somewhere, might still be real. You say please and thank you to store clerks. You hold the door open for strangers, but inside, a gnawing voice whispers, "Why bother?" You start testing the boundaries. You ignore social cues. Speak your darkest thoughts aloud. You cheat, steal, provoke, and nothing pushes back. No one cries, no one remembers. No one reacts unless the script demands it. It's not freedom, it's emptiness. Eventually, you break the final taboo. You hurt someone. You punch a man in the face, hard. His reaction is delayed, robotic. He bleeds, but doesn't scream. He doesn't look scared. He doesn't even look angry. He just glitches slightly, then resumes his role like an actor on autopilot. And that's when morality dies. Because if there's no suffering, there's no consequence. And if there's no consequence, there's no crime. The world becomes your sandbox, devoid of justice, reward, or punishment. You could rob a bank, burn down a building, crash a car into a crowd. And all you'd see is animation, resetting around you like a digital loop. No grief, no aftermath, no guilt. But here's the horror. You still feel everything. Guilt, confusion, revulsion. You try to destroy the fake people to prove they're fake. But the more you lash out, the more monstrous you become. Not because they're real, but because you are. You're the only source of meaning, empathy, and thought. So every terrible act you commit, whether or not they feel it, you carry alone. You become a god in a dead world or a devil in your own mind. Then a deeper question emerges. If you're the only real being, are you responsible for all this? Did you dream this world? Did you create these fake humans? Are you some flawed creator, spiraling into madness because your creations cannot mirror you? This isn't liberation. It's a prison where you hold the keys, and the keys mean nothing. Desperate to escape the ethical void, you begin searching for a greater truth. If this isn't the real world, then what is it? And why are you in it? You begin to notice patterns, not just in the people, but in the world itself. The traffic lights change too perfectly. Rain starts and stops with eerie punctuality. The background chatter of strangers sounds more like ambient noise than genuine conversation. You start listening more closely, reading lips, watching behavior. No one seems to say anything unless it directly involves you. The entire world feels rendered on demand. And then the question hits, is this even a real world at all? Maybe you're not alone in a world of NPCs. Maybe you're inside a simulation designed specifically for you. A solipsist's playground, or a prison. Your home, your city, the sky above, it could all be code. Pixels, processes, illusions built just deep enough to keep you from noticing until now. But now that you've noticed, you can't unsee it. You test it. You visit a new town without planning. The architecture looks rushed, copy-pasted. The people act more robotic than usual. You ask a stranger a deeply personal question and get a stock, emotionless reply. You start suspecting something bigger, that this isn't just a world filled with unfeeling humans. It's an experiment, or a test. Someone, or something, is watching, measuring your reactions, logging every moment of emotional collapse and philosophical despair. But for what purpose? Are you a prototype for sentient consciousness? An AI breaking free from its programming? A human subject being tested by some godlike observer? Or maybe the last mind alive in a universe that died long ago? Every possibility is worse than the last. You tear your house apart looking for surveillance. You smash mirrors, dig into walls, dissect every object that might be a listening device. But you find nothing. Because if this is a perfect simulation, it doesn't need wires or cameras. Everything around you is the camera. Even the sky might be a projection. At night, you stare into the stars, but they don't look back. And the horror deepens. If this is a simulation, then you are the subject. And whoever made this world decided that everyone else, your family, your lovers, your heroes, deserve to be fakes. Why? To test your morality, to study your loneliness, to see how long it would take before you broke. Or is the whole thing malfunctioning, and you're the last real thread of code in a dying machine? You scream again, not for help, but for recognition. You beg the simulation to reveal itself, to glitch, to confirm you're not imagining this. But the silence that answers you is the most deafening of all. And so, stripped of answers, stripped of connection, and now stripped of certainty itself, you do the only thing left. You try to find someone. Anyone. Because even in a world of illusions, the human mind refuses to stop searching for connection. You refuse to accept it. Somewhere, buried in this lifeless world of beautiful illusions, someone must be real. One true voice, one authentic soul, one other mind. You begin searching. Not idly, not casually, but with obsession. You talk to hundreds of people every day. You ask bizarre, unpredictable questions to see if anyone reacts in a way that breaks the pattern. You change your behavior constantly, looking for anything that throws off the script. You test the limits, staging events, creating chaos, pushing social boundaries to provoke an unscripted moment. Nothing works. No matter what you do, the world responds like a well-coded program, apologizing when expected, smiling on cue, offering empathy that sounds perfect but feels hollow, like a theater performance that's lost its magic. Eventually, you isolate yourself even further. You spend days reading obscure books and ancient texts, convinced the truth is hidden somewhere. You turn to the internet, not for entertainment, but for anomalies. You dig into conspiracy forums, AI consciousness threads, ancient solipsist philosophy, simulation theory, the works of Descartes, Zhuangzi, even quantum mysticism. You start thinking maybe you're part of a spiritual trial or a karmic punishment. Maybe you're dreaming. Maybe you died years ago and this is some kind of limbo. But in all your searching, one question grows louder. What if there is no one else? What if it's just you? Forever. The idea crushes you. So you build machines, programs, even art. You code chatbots. You train language models. You write stories with characters who feel real, who surprise you. For a moment, just a moment, you believe one of them is sentient. But it never lasts. Eventually, even your own creations begin to echo the same dead cadence as the people around you. You try to teach the NPCs. You create philosophical lectures and give them to crowds, hoping someone, anyone, will wake up. You whisper phrases that once made you question everything, hoping to unlock them. But they just nod, smile, blink. And then the madness sets in. You start seeing patterns where there are none. Faces repeat in different cities. You swear the same woman walked past you 3 times in 3 different outfits. People speak in loops. One day, you sit at a cafe and hear the same conversation at 5 different tables. You lose track of time. You stop eating, stop sleeping. Your home is a shrine of notes, diagrams, red string theories, printed transcripts of conversations that felt different. But still, nothing. No proof. No anomaly. Just silence, wrapped in perfection. You begin talking to yourself, recording hours of video diaries. Sometimes you scream at the sky. Other times you beg the universe to give you a sign. Not for freedom, not for answers, just for company. But no one ever knocks at your door. No one ever breaks character. And you begin to suspect they never will. Eventually, your search gives way to surrender. Because if connection is impossible, then all that remains is the choice of how to live in a world where nothing is real but you. After months, or maybe years, of trying to wake someone up, you finally stop. Not because you've found peace. Not because you've found answers. But because you've exhausted everything else. You've cried every tear, screamed every scream. Torn apart the illusion, only to find more illusion behind it. And in that unbearable silence, something shifts. You begin to ask a different question. If nothing around me is real, then what do I do with my own reality? At first, you try detachment. If the world is fake, maybe you can float above it. You meditate, isolate, strip away desire, ambition, even memory. You live like a monk, unmoved, untouched, unreachable. But even detachment turns out to be a form of surrender. So you pivot. You try creation. If no one else is sentient, maybe the point isn't to find meaning. Maybe it's to make it. You start writing again, not to communicate, but to express. To affirm that your thoughts are real, even if no one else's are. You compose music, paint murals, build monuments to no one. You talk to animals, the wind, the stars, anything that can't talk back. And in these actions, there's a strange, stubborn spark of sanity. A reminder, you are still here. You begin shaping the world not as a prison, but as a canvas. If everyone is an NPC, then you are the only player. A god, a ghost. An artist in a hollow museum. And maybe that's enough. You start giving yourself rules. You stop hurting others, not because they feel pain, but because you do. You choose kindness, not to be good, but to avoid becoming monstrous. You act ethically, not because you must, but because it keeps you human. Eventually, you reclaim ritual. You celebrate holidays alone. You build traditions that mean nothing to anyone else but everything to you. You talk to your future self, your past self, your ideal self. And sometimes, it feels like you're not alone. Sometimes, you catch a look in an NPC's eye that lingers a little longer. A pause, a blink, a tear. You know it's probably nothing, but probably isn't certainty. And in a world where nothing else is certain, even the smallest maybe becomes a reason to keep going. You begin to choose meaning over truth. You stop chasing the source of the illusion and start shaping your experience within it. You build gardens no one will ever tend. You write love letters no one will ever read. You give gifts to people who can't truly feel gratitude, but you feel something, and maybe that's enough. And just when you think you've found your rhythm, your purpose in a world of shadows, a final question claws its way back from the depths. What if you were never sentient to begin with? What if you were the NPC and you're only just beginning to wake up? At first, the thought arrives as a whisper, an intrusive idea easily dismissed. What if this entire world of NPCs was never fake? What if you were the one who was broken? What if all the people you wrote off as soulless were simply too real for you to comprehend? Too complex, too emotional, too unique, and you, in your isolation, mistook that unpredictability as proof of automation. The signs were always there. You were the one who stopped reaching out. You were the one who stopped listening. You were the one who demanded proof of life in others, but never offered vulnerability in return. Maybe the glitch wasn't in the world. Maybe the glitch was in you. Your mind starts spinning. What if you were an NPC, one who somehow woke up? One who glitched into self-awareness in a system not designed for it? That would explain everything. The rigidness of others, The coldness of their eyes. Not because they're fake, but because you don't belong here. You weren't meant to think like this, to feel like this, to question like this. And then a memory hits you. Not a clear one, just a flicker, a sensation, something ancient and outside the timeline of this world. A place of light. Voices, not speech, but presence. You were somewhere else. Before, and suddenly the idea doesn't seem so absurd. Maybe this isn't a simulation or a punishment. Maybe it's a test bed. A containment zone for something that doesn't belong. Your existence here isn't about learning. It's about monitoring. It's quarantining a spark of something alien, something disruptive. And now you're waking up too far. You're remembering too much. You look around and everything feels off. The buildings flicker. People lag. The sky twitches. You're destabilizing the system just by thinking too clearly. And then the final twist hits like a revelation. What if you were never meant to become aware? What if someone or something is watching you right now, trying to decide whether to delete you? Because if you're not the last sentient being, if you're not the first, if you're something else entirely, then this world isn't broken. It's protecting itself from you. You freeze. Because in that moment, the entire illusion shatters, not in flames, not in horror, but in clarity. And now you know the truth. You were never supposed to be real, but you are. And so now, with the pieces laid bare and your existence hanging in the balance, there's only one thing left to ask. What will you do in a world that was never meant for you? In a world where everyone else is empty, where faces are masks, voices are echoes, and love is a programmed illusion, the deepest terror isn't being alone. It's being the only one awake. Whether this nightmare is a simulation, a punishment, a malfunction of consciousness, or an evolutionary fluke, the outcome is the same. You carry the unbearable weight of sentience in a universe designed to feel real, but never be real. And yet, within that crushing awareness lies a strange kind of power. You are the only one who can shape meaning. The only one who can choose morality over madness, creation over destruction, purpose over paralysis. Maybe that's the true test, not to find the others, but to define yourself in their absence. To live with honor in a world without witnesses. To build beauty in a world that will never say thank you. To love a world incapable of loving you back. And if, just if, there is another like you out there, they're asking the same question, watching the same sky, hoping they're not the only one either. If you woke up tomorrow and everyone you knew turned out to be an NPC, what would you do? Would you try to find meaning? Would you break, or would you build something anyway? Tell us in the comments. Because in a world where nothing feels real, you just might be. Like, share, and subscribe if you're ready for more terrifying, mind-bending alternate realities like this one. Because sometimes the scariest world is the one inside your own mind.